You are now listening to Handsome Reads. Hey, come on near this. Nah, come closer and listen to me well. While I remind you, your life is not in any way a form of long division. Why do you insist on bringing remainders with you? Do better than that. Because you and I both know that you better than that. To my peeps, keeping up with Army of Sin Season 2, I just wanted to give a special shout out to you. Always grateful for the blessing of your continued support. Today's episode stays in Aix, France, titled Calm of the Storm. Location: Aix, France, 8 years ago. Living near the coast was both a blessing and a curse. The rich tapestry of sunsets and full moons that colored roadways were enough to leave many a heart in joyous song. Yet, like a jealous lover, life on the coast could become an unpleasant thing. This was what Gigi now experienced, trapped indoors while a storm raged outside. The winds hurled insults against the closed shutters, drowning the classical music coming from her minute radio as she finished rinsing the remainder of the serving glasses before she held them up to the light for meticulous inspection. The first banging on the door had her heart leaping in anticipation, leaving the glass upside down on her drying cloth until her return. Dearest husband, what took you so... Her mind scrambled for words as her greeting died at the back of her throat. For it was not her beloved Selim that stood with the lightning flashing at his back. This stranger was dressed in a stained white shirt, tattered jeans, and nothing but slippers on his feet. As she took in his appearance, Gigi calculated the distance to her phone. Gigi calculated the distance to her phone, as well as the distance to her knife rack. He was built on the leaner side, probably only outweighing her by 10 pounds. Good fighting odds for a vulnerable woman. "Work!" he shouted in French over the storm's onslaught, spreading his hands in the universal, unarmed, I mean no harm stance. What would possess someone to apply for work at a time like this? Gigi asked herself before throwing caution to the unrelenting wind and proceeded to wave the stranger inside, lest her feet become even more soaked. The welcome intruder gave a series of short bows as he crossed the threshold into the kitchen before his legs buckled and the lights faded from his eyes. Gigi gasped as she turned to see her guest face down on her once sterile kitchen floor, the handle of a knife protruding from his back. "The beef!" came the barking request in French. 3 minutes, chef, Abigail replied from where she stood under the watchful supervision of head chef and business owner Gigi Saunders. Edgar, the gruff sous chef, gave no reply, a small victory in Abigail's quest for culinary respect. Adding another touch of red wine, she looked over her shoulder, puzzled by her head chef's sudden quiet and faraway look in her eyes. Following her gaze, Abigail also found herself staring at the kitchen's dishwasher, Moggo. At that instant, he reached over his shoulder to slowly rub a spot high up on his back. That's enough, dear. Andre does not like his beef filet cooked all the way through, Gigi advised. Oui, madame. Service, Abigail called out, depositing the finished order of beef filet, olives, shallots, and red wine sauce and vegetables where the burly sous chef waited. I shall carry this one out myself, Gigi stated, balancing the plate expertly, wisps of steam rising off. Gigi's face lit up as she cleared the second set of doors leading out towards the dining area, the sounds of glasses clinking and chattering guests warming her to the core. Andre's group sat in the center of the dining space, around the only circular slab designed especially for instances such as these. To one of the low-lit areas, Gigi spied Marielle speaking with a guest, the tense manner she held herself with obvious to Gigi, even from across the room. Gigi, darling, Andre greeted, rising from his chair. My brother, she greeted just as warmly, setting down his plate before leaning into an embrace. Still wasting away in these baggy chef clothes, he whispered near her ear. Still coming to see me, she retorted just as quietly, the two childhood friends sharing a laugh. Good evening, everyone. I trust everything is to your liking. We have never seen Andre this excited to see someone before, teased the woman that looked to be in her late 20s, her thick black curls combed out. It's the food, she offered with a smile, eyes falling on the slender woman that sat next to the speaker, with almond-shaped eyes, a touch of bronze on her elegant cheekbones. A gorgeous group you have this year, my friend, she commented. Evangeline, Andre gestured to the one with the gorgeous eyes. Her manager, Mona, the woman with the big curls, stuck her tongue out at the photographer before giving Gigi a small wave in greeting. Carolina, Amelia, Lino, and Angie, he indicated, rounding out the group of models. And of course, you remember the rest of my staff. Of course. A pleasure to meet you all, both old and new. Sit, she ordered. We'll chat some more when dinner is over. On her way back to the kitchen, Gigi paused at each dinner guest's table, sharing a kind word and a smile, sometimes even a laugh, as her maitre Madame Maxine, would have done. Igniting the lanterns that bejeweled the outside patio, the view one of the main reasons she had relentlessly chased the purchase of the location. Gigi paused for a moment to admire the pink sky as the sun bade this part of the world farewell for the day. Try as she might, however, Gigi just could not shake that nostalgic mood she found herself in. First, Margot and her meeting, followed by the day she had first taken a tour of the property her business now stood on. She had then only recently returned to Ez, culinary study and internships having taken her away from her hometown. Finally, with experience and the potential to do great things, a proclamation made during her exit interview, she had found herself one of the building's best suitors. The wonder of the building still held true, she thought, her wrist busy with whisking 3 eggs. It was almost like a tunnel, the stone-faced front seen from the street, granting access to the uniquely assembled dining room. Past the dining room, however, Le Sanctuaire boasted what none of the other buildings could. Though dwarfing her in height, none of the buildings adjoining hers had a garden like the restaurant, their high walls becoming nothing more but highways for vines. Madame, Mariel called, causing Gigi to look up from where she now added the other ingredients to her mixing bowl. Gigi's smile faded as she saw the expression on the other woman's face. What is it? She asked, leaving her meal preparations for more pressing issues. Mr. Brock wishes to have a word, Marielle explained through a tense jaw, the grey eyes that stared out of that creamy complexion flashing in barely restrained anger. Chef? Did he touch you? Gigi asked, not bothering to shield the conversation. They were all a family. Chef? No, madame, Marielle replied. Nothing out of the ordinary? Gigi asked sweetly, calm flooding her veins like honey. Chef! Mogo called a third time from his station. Oui? Gigi replied. Shall I remove the filth from our restaurant? He sneered, bouldering askew on flared nostrils. No. There is no need. There is no need for violence, Gigi ordered, before turning to the petite woman with blood-red hair. Relax in my office, love. I shall tend to our guest. What will you do? Why, kill him with kindness, of course, Gigi replied in that pleasant tone of hers. To be continued. Of course, it's another cliffhanger. For you, my wonderful listener, deserve nothing less. Don't forget to give this video a like or a share to your WhatsApp friends group, family group, Instagram close friends, or even Facebook. When was the last time you suggested to your aunt or uncle that she has a story read to her by a handsome gentleman? Until next time, and as always, love and light.